Thanks for joining me on another video. This time I'm going to talk about finishing, how I hand rub the blades, get them flat, get them finished, and also how I keep things flat. This blade is a straight tang, no taper to it, so this is a good subject to test. You notice that I stamped my logo into the blade using a 10-ton hydraulic press, and I do now pre-grind bevels, but I do leave a good thickness at the edge, probably about 2mm thickness at the edge, and of course the knives are profile ground all before heat treat, and the holes are all drilled before heat treat as well. Now all this machining and pressing, it imparts strains and stresses into the steel, and you can expect a warp to occur, or warpage to occur to varying degrees when you quench the knife. There's a way you can minimise it to start off with, and simply, it's a very simple pre-heat treat process. I stick all my knives in the kiln. I heat them up to around about 690-700 degrees centigrade. I leave them to sit at that temperature for a few minutes to equalise. Then I simply switch the kiln off and leave them in there, and it all cools down gradually. And then the next day, everything's gone cold, and I then heat treat them properly, and then they come out with minimal to zero warpage. I can show you. I don't know if you're going to see it quite. No, I don't know if it's going to focus on it, but there's zero to minimal warpage across that blade. I'm going to show you how I finish this blade off and get it flat. What I find that works for me is Corian. It's a type of very hard plastic, sort of nylon plastic. It's extremely hard, heavy, and there's absolutely no give to it or flex to it whatsoever. I have used, for rubbing out knives in the past, sheets of emery, but literally it doesn't last very long. Typically two or three passes and the grit's gone. So I use aluminium oxide belts in various grits, and then I cut them up. They've got a cloth backing, very thin cloth backing, which allows the grit to conform ever so slightly, and the grit just on the abrasive belt seems to better quality and lasts longer. There is a progression, and I start off. I cut my grits, my belts to small sizes like that, and I start off generally on a 220. At this stage, the knife has been finished on the grinder to about a 220, and I start hand rubbing at a 220 as well, and with the abrasive wrapped around the Corian, it keeps things flat, as you can see. If anyone's thinking of getting into knife making, thinking they're going to make a quick fast buck at it, they've got another thing coming. It's 1:15 almost. We're starting off this now, 1:15. Bit of light machine oil, in this case WD-40. And then it's a matter of rubbing. backwards and forwards. Any high spots are taken out. Notice the blade is tucked in, so I can't put my hand along it, but I've got to be careful. Go lengthways. If you've got a little high spot to rub out, it'll tell you where the high spots are. So let's just rub that oil off and see what we've got. I can see I've got a little bit of a low spot there. The heat treat colour is remaining. So it's now a matter of continually rubbing, and I'm probably going to keep that block lengthways. I might have to change the grit 2 or 3 times until I've taken that out. Perhaps it's time for a bit of music. Hope you enjoy the video, and I hope you like the music. Still a little bit there. It will be time to change this to a new. Change it to a new. We're going to use a new piece of abrasive. Fresh abrasive cuts so much quicker. Still see it a little bit there still. Almost gone, it's just still there. Gone. That blade now is quite flat. I haven't got a surface grinder, so what's that corian block will have to do. It's now time to progress to the next grit. I've just cleaned the logo out on a very fine satin wheel. That just removes the heat treat colours from inside the logo. I can't get that out any other way. So we're now on to the next grit. And you've got to be really careful to keep the block flat and not let it rock. If it rocks, you can cause yourself no end of problem. But I'm going slightly. When you get down to the tip there, you've got not a lot of steel to work against. So I'm going slightly at a different angle. If you can, I don't know if the camera's picking that up. If I zoom in, I'm going slightly, across, so it's time to just play that music again and work this 280 grit. That'll do. I think that'll do for the 280. That looks quite good. It's time to go up to the next grit. I've moved up to 400 now, so let's repeat the process. That. Looks good. Looks good. Under closer inspection I can see a slight flaw, and I have to continue rubbing a bit longer. But I've taken that flaw out now, and I'm going on to my final grit progression, which is a 600. What I normally do, I normally cut a load of these up beforehand, but because I was wanting to get the video done at the same time, I didn't prepare these abrasive strips in time. So anyway, we've got a 600 loaded now. This will be the final grit. It's always a good idea if you can go across like that. It's a good thing, but you can see it shows up. It shows up where the grit's hitting and where it's missing. But on the bushcraft style knife, where the blade narrows, there's a tendency for that to rock ever so slightly, which is a big no-no. You don't want that to happen. So whenever I go sideways, I've got to go really slowly. But I can see I'm putting fresh sideways scratches in, so I've got no deeper scratches than 400 in there. Right, let's play that music again. finish off now with a piece of 600 wrapped around a piece of steel. Just go one way, just dragging it one way carefully, and then just rotating the abrasive to give me a fresh piece of grit every time. And that just puts the final scratch pattern in. So I'll just clean off the old cutting oil, and with some clean oil. And look at that finish. I'm quite happy with that. And you can see how the grind lines are nice and sharp and crisp, because the abrasive was backed up by the Corian block and the steel rod. It hasn't allowed it to go over the edge. It's kept everything nice and crisp. And any little ripples that were in the steel after heat treat have been removed, and the knife is as flat as the proverbial pancake. Well, that's just one side of that knife done now, and the time is so you get an idea. That was quite an easy one. That was quite a straightforward one. There wasn't too many ripples or warps to remove in that process. So hope that's been of help to somebody. So you can get your knives really nice and flat even with simple tools. Corian block. It's a lifesaver. Thanks for watching.